Thank you for tuning in to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. Whether you're listening during your commute, while working out, or just relaxing at home, we appreciate you. Every download, every listen, and every subscription means a lot. Up next, the 12 Kyle podcast.
Thank you for downloading, and thank you for subscribing to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I am your boy, 12 Kyle. Man, check this out. Listen, you remember the bet? Do you remember the bet? The movie was called The Wood. I'm not going to get into the specifics about the movie because maybe you did, maybe you did not see the movie. But there was a bet in the movie. There was a bet that between three friends that, you know, they could have sexual relations with a young lady and who would have it first. And they put some money up to bet as to who would, you know, reach that culmination first amongst these three friends. The moral of the story was, one, it was crass, and two, they should never bet. And that's the lesson that I learned just a couple of days ago. At the time of this recording, you see this hat. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching. I am donning a New York Yankees hat. If you know me personally, you know that I'm a huge fan of the New York Yankees baseball team. And at the time of this recording, we just lost the World Series to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Salute to the Dodgers. They beat us, what was it, 4 games? Was it 4 games? 4 games to 1. I literally just forgot just that fast. But the Dodgers won fair and square. The Dodgers had the best record all year long. And they won. You know, they beat us up and down. But it's not so much about baseball. Even though it is about baseball, it's about this bet. I never bet on anything. I'm not a gambling person. I don't bet on, you know, anything. Cards, video games, no nothing. I don't, because I'm not into losing money, right? I'm one of the few people who've never been to Vegas before. Now, I will go to Vegas, but I'm probably going to take like $50 to Vegas, and once I spend my $50, I'm probably going to go back home. I'm not into losing money, right? But I did something where I put myself into a bet. Now, me and my boy, my brother, BTG, Baylor the Great. You know him, you love him. He's been on here before. He's got 2 podcasts. One is called Open Run with BTG, and the other is called BTG for President. That's my boy. That's my brother, LA Kid. Baylor is a huge Dodgers fan, and I'm a Yankees fan. And for the first time ever, at least in a long time, our 2 teams were battling each other for the World Series. And I decided, I shot him a text. I sent him a voice note. I said, hey, let's bet on this. Let's bet on this series. Okay, so here's the thing. The initial bet was supposed to be $5,000, right? And I was like, nah, I don't want to do $5,000. Let's make it 10. And so the bet was 10 grand, but then no, we scratched it. And we said, let's make the bet. The loser has to buy the winner lunch. Now, that might not seem like a lot, but that's a lot, really, when you think about it. Because we went from $5,000 to 10 grand to now we're just betting lunch. And I lost the bet. So I got to take Baylor to Roscoe's. I'm not happy about that at all. I mean, he earned it. And I know what you're thinking. Well, I mean, hey, you could have lost 10 grand. That's not the point. The point is, I shouldn't have bet. Don't bet. on stuff. That's the moral of the story. Don't bet. You know what? I'm still very frustrated with myself for this because I think that the New York Yankees let me down. But more importantly, I let the New York Yankees down by betting on them. Maybe, who knows? Maybe if I don't bet, maybe they win. I mean, but let's be honest. Let's just be honest. If we're being honest, Aaron Judge played like crap the entire playoff run. And if you're not a baseball fan, Aaron Judge is going to be, at least we assume, will be named sometime in the near future the MVP of the league. And he got to the playoffs and lost all of his superpowers. I mean, like, the dude couldn't get a hit. Like, it was crazy. It was like the Monstars took his talent away or something. And I love Aaron Judge, man. I think he's a great guy. He's a great competitor. He's great for Major League Baseball, and he's going to be Yankee for life. You can't come up short in the playoffs. I mean, like, what he did in the playoffs, but specifically even in the World Series, would be the equivalent of LeBron James averaging 35 points an entire season, and then he gets to the finals and he averages 12 points. Can't do it. You just can't do it. I mean, like, you have to step your game up. Are you feeling nostalgic for the golden eras of rap and soul music? If so, tune in to the Rap Soul Podcast. We are your weekly journey through the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, spotlighting the music and the hidden gems that shape the soundtrack of our lives. From the powerful beats to the soulful melodies, we bring you the best of the past with fresh insights and stories. Rediscover the music that defined a generation. Subscribe to the Rap Soul Podcast and enjoy the vibes. But the Dodgers, I give them credit. They got hits. They got timely hits. They put the ball in play. They caused us to make mistakes. And if you don't even have to follow baseball, we had a 5-run lead in the 5th inning of Game 5. And we blew the lead. We went lemon booty. We went straight lemon booty. And, I mean, I've seen lemon booty performances, but that was the most lemon booty performance I have seen ever. I mean, like, we had 3 consecutive errors in an inning, and LA came back and they won the game. And one of the things I thought was key was, in baseball in particular, in the World Series, they do this thing where they interview the managers in between innings sometimes. And they interviewed the manager for the Dodgers, Dave Roberts. Shout out to Dave Roberts. And the reporter was basically saying, like, hey, you're down 5-0. Are you worried about, pitching too many people tonight because you got to get ready for Game 6? And and I'm paraphrasing here, he basically said, well, this game ain't over. And it was that mindset, like, this game isn't over. We still got time to come back and win this game. He truly believed in his team, and he willed his team, or at least helped his team get to that point where they tied the game up, and then it subsequently took the lead and won the game. And that was the final game of the series. And they won it on our home field. And so I'm frustrated. I'm a Dodger. Excuse me. I'm not a Dodger. I'm not a Dodger hater. And, again, I give Baylor his props. We're going to go to Roscoe's. We're going to have a ball. I got to go out there. I'm going out there for my birthday. So I'm going to go out there, kick it with my boys, and we're going to have a good time. We're going to go to Roscoe's. We're going to get the number 9, the Obama special. That's one of my favorites. That's what I always get anytime I go to Roscoe's. I just hate the fact that I bet. I shouldn't have bet. And this is frustrating. But the moral of the story, folks, don't bet. Don't bet. And if you do bet 10 grand or bet 5 grand. Don't bet lunch. Don't bet lunch. It's way too personal, because now and here's the thing. I have to actually go to lunch with him. It's not like I'm gonna cash app him $20. Like, I got to go to lunch with him. And while that's my boy, we're going to enjoy each other's company. We're going to laugh. We're going to kick. We're going to have a good time. We're going to go to the right Roscoe's. We're not going to go to the hood Roscoe's. But that being said, like, I shouldn't have bet, because I think like if I had not bet, maybe I wouldn't have jinxed the Yankees. And, but I felt good. I was feeling good. We were coming off a great series against the Cleveland Guardians. I think they're the Guardians. Yeah, Guardians. And, I was happy. I was feeling myself. I was flowing, and it was good until it wasn't. And so, and Baylor, he called me the other day. We did an episode on his podcast, and now I'm putting this episode out. So you've got to hear, both of our sides of the story. I mean, again, it's big props to him. He won, and it's another, another tip in the cap for the Yankees and the Dodgers, but the Dodgers more so than the Yankees because they got the title. We don't. We made it, but we didn't make it. And the Yankees are the most storied franchise in pro sports. Nobody has more titles than us. We've got 27 World Series titles, but our last title was like 2009, I think. Like, it was that long ago. It's been a minute. To quote the great Rakim, it's been a long time. It's been too long. In fact, the last time the Yankees played for a World Series, this podcast didn't even exist. It's been that long. And I've been at this for damn near 10 years. So it's tough, man. It's tough. But the moral of the story, don't bet. And if you do bet 10 grand. Bet 5 grand. Hell, bet 50 grand. Don't bet lunch. Don't bet Roscoe's. I'm going to hate pulling out the card to pay for Roscoe's, man. I would much rather give him 10 grand than to lose a bet and bet for Roscoe's. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another edition of the 12 Kyle Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast. The podcast drops every Thursday and every Sunday at midnight. If you're on social media, hit us up at 12 Kyle. Oh, you got the brain freeze for that for a second. At 12 Kyle, at 12 Kyle Podcast across the board. Twitter X, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. If you're on YouTube, hit us up on YouTube. YouTube.com/12 Kyle Podcast. Subscribe, like, leave comments. I love comments. I will comment back. On YouTube, we got both audio and video of that as well on YouTube. Hit us up also on Cash App, $TWELVEKYLE if you'd like to contribute financially to the podcast. You can also buy merch, 12 Kyle Podcast merch. We have t-shirts, hoodies, as well as coffee mugs like the one I'm holding right here for the YouTube audience. Hit us up on the description box. The description link is in the link. See, this whole conversation got me, has me, my mind is confused. The link is in the description box. I'm sorry. So yeah, that's going to do it for me. Also, before I forget, we have a new baby. It is called the Rap Soul Podcast. The Rap Soul Podcast can be found wherever you get your podcasts, also on YouTube as well. The great thing about the Rap Soul Podcast, it is a new venture. It is the intersection of rap and soul music from the 80s, 90s, and the 2000s. So be sure to check me out over there as well. Again, that's going to do it for me. I am your boy 12 Kyle. I'll catch you guys next time. 5 G's. Chill.
Thanks again for listening to this episode of the 12 Kyle Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and share this podcast with a friend who needs the 12 Kyle Podcast in their life. Every listen, every download, and every share helps us grow. Thanks for being a part of the 12 Kyle Podcast community. We appreciate your support. We will catch you next time. 5,000.